So today we're going to talk about the high-level calendars, the different types of calendars, how you can integrate your Google Calendar into the profile, and also how you can incorporate like Google Meet and Zoom and create custom meeting locations. So what we're looking at right now is the actual calendar, and this is where you're going to review or view all of your booked appointments. Now we have the list view here, and the list view is just like it says, it's a list of all of your appointments here in an easy to read fashion. You can also create smart lists. So let's say that you have private consultations and you want to sort through all of these and just look at your private consultations, or maybe you have onboardings and you only want to look at the onboardings. You can easily create a smart list of those here. Now, to create an actual calendar, you have to actually go to the calendar settings. And you'll see once we click the calendar settings, it actually takes us into our main settings into the calendars tab. So we have calendars, preferences, availability, and connections here. Now you'll see here is where all of our calendars are, and you can actually create groups of calendars. So let's say just for me, myself, maybe I have a private consultation calendar, and then I have a service calendar where we're going to maybe talk about custom builds, and maybe I have a free demo calendar, and it's just for me. And so I want to group all of those together. I could do that here just by creating a group. It's kind of like a folder for calendars. Now you do have service menus, and service menus are, if you think of like an e-commerce store for service businesses. A lot of salons book this or use this, where you can book a haircut, you can build out different services, and you can schedule and then pay at the same time. Now, rooms and equipment are basically like a service menu, except if you have certain rooms that people are booking out or certain pieces of equipment. Maybe you have tables and chairs, and each of those are numbered. It's real easy to come in here and just add your equipment and then choose the calendar that that's going to be used on. So if I am an event planner and I want to track all of my equipment and make sure that if you book this specific room here, and in that room, we also need to have 5 tables and 10 chairs per table, then I need to make sure that I'm accounting for all of those here. So that's what service menu, rooms, and equipment, that's really what that's for. Now, the main thing that you need to know is how to create a calendar. And you'll see when you click in here that there are different types of calendars. And what I just showed you with the service menu, rooms, and equipment, that's going to be used for the service booking calendar or the event calendar. So service booking is like for spa appointments, repair services, things like that. And then you have the event calendar, and that's for physical events with no host associated. So it'd be like conferences, public seminars, and so on. Now, setting up these calendars is basically the same for every calendar that you're setting up, with the exception of these two down here, because all you would need to do that's different with these two calendars is just add the appropriate rooms and equipment that you need to book appointments for. Now we have the personal booking, and this is what you guys are going to be using most often. So if you're booking one-on-one meetings like private consultations, and it's just one team member and you want to share that, and people are going to book specifically with you. Round Robin is basically the personal booking calendar, except in Round Robin, you may have multiple people that you want to be selected in the calendar. Let's say that you have a sales team and you have 3 different sales team members. And when you add this calendar to your website, you want to evenly distribute all of the appointments being booked among your different sales people. If appointment 1 gets booked, it's going to go to salesperson 1. If appointment 2 gets booked, it's going to go to salesperson 2, and then 3 is going to go to salesperson 3. But then when the 4th appointment gets booked, it's going to go back to salesperson 1, because you're distributing all of the appointments being booked. Now, a class booking is it's like for webinars or like the training like we're doing here, where you want people to book and there's going to be one host with multiple participants. So it's like one to many. And then you have the collective booking, which is multiple hosts with one participant. So, a great example of this is the podcast that we're launching. Marla and I both are the hosts, but we're only having one participant in the podcast. So, we created a collective booking for the guests to post or to schedule their interview. And we both are the hosts in that calendar. So, we both get notified. We can both add them to our Google Calendar. It will change the time zone, all of those amazing things that we want to happen. So that's really the difference between all of these calendars. Now, let's just go ahead and create a calendar. So I'm going to choose personal booking, and let's just call this test calendar. We should probably spell test right. And then here you can add a description, and you want to choose the team member that is going to be the one who gets assigned these appointments. So that would be like, let's say demo user 1. And again, if I wanted to select multiple, I would want to do that round robin. So we're only selecting one here because this is the personal calendar. And you'll see, like I said, most of these calendars, they're all the same with just a couple little differences. So this process is going to walk you through no matter what calendar you need. So we're going to select that one team member. We can actually change the custom URL. So it's going to be widget/bookings/ whatever is here. You're going to choose the meeting duration, which is self-explanatory. If your meetings are going to be 30 minutes, go ahead and set it 30 minutes, or you could change it to like 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever you need. The booking availability is set at the user level. So if I come in here into the user of this sub account, you'll see go to the settings and you go to staff, you'll see that I have 3 different users in this account. So if I click here and I go down to user availability, this is the availability that it's pulling from. Okay, so when it says the booking availability, that's what it's referring to. You can accept payments for this. Just make sure that you do have like your Stripe account connected to the sub account, and then you'll be able to choose a specific price. You do have some advanced settings down here, which take you into this area. Now, the calendar logo isn't the logo of the business. This is more like the person that you're booking with. So you can give the calendar a name. You can also use any of the custom values here from the account if you want to. You can add a description here. You can also add this calendar to a group. So like I told you before, it's kind of like a folder that's going to house all of your calendars. You also can customize the URL here. You can change the meeting invite name. Right now, the meeting is going to be called whatever the contact's first name is. You can use any of these custom values, or you can just type something in here if you want it to be the same every time. We're going to select the team members. Since we chose the personal calendar, we're only able to select one team member. So you'll see the others are grayed out here. And since this team member has Zoom connected to the account, you'll see the meeting location show here. Okay, so when I say that, let's go into calendar configuration, video conferencing, and you'll see this is where Zoom is connected. So keep in mind when you are setting this up, whether it's for you or a client, that to be a user in the calendar, you have to be a user here. You also need to make sure if you want your Zoom account connected, that you are connecting your Zoom account here as the user, because this user here is the same as this user here, and that's the account it's going to link to create that custom meeting. When your Zoom account is connected here to the meeting location and it's connected to your profile, what you are telling the system is every time I get an appointment booked on this calendar, I want you to talk to Zoom. I want you to create an event inside of my Zoom account. And then I want that custom link for that specific customer's meeting to be added to the custom location of the meeting. So when I say that, I mean, you can go into your emails and you'll see custom location. It's not going to show in here, but you will see a appointment, you'll see location, and then that custom value is going to be that Zoom link. Now, If I wanted to use like my own personal Zoom link, or maybe I'm using like Riverside because I'm doing a podcast and I want to send them to one specific link, I can just change this to custom and then I can put that link there. And then every time an appointment is booked, that meeting location for the user is going to be whatever you've added here. Same thing with Google Meet. You can do the phone, full address, Ask the Booker, or Microsoft Teams. Of course, we could add another meeting location if we want to, and then we could change the color here of this meeting. Now, here is going to be the availability. We're referring to the booking availability of the person who is assigned to this calendar. We do have this option here that we can actually make our calendar look busy. So let's say that you're a brand new business and your calendar is just completely open because you're having a hard time getting appointments booked. Probably don't want it to look like it's completely open. So you may want to change this to like 20%, and then it's going to make it look busy. So it's going to hide a number of available slots by 20%. So if you have 100 appointments, only 80 of them are going to show. Now, let's go ahead and turn that off. We can also choose a reoccurring meeting. Let's say that we have a meeting with our VA and it is every Monday at 2 o'clock. We could maybe set something up like that. Or most of us will just have one-time meetings for a personal booking calendar. So we can choose to toggle that on or off. Now, the meeting intervals, if you want to book your appointments at 1 p.m., 1:30, 2 p.m., 2:30, and then you also have meeting duration. So how long is the meeting going to last? How much time in advance do you want them to be able to book? Meaning, like my calendar, I do not allow people to book 24 hours in advance. That's really helpful because a lot of us plan our day the day before. So if we don't want people to be able to book the day of, maybe we want to put like one day, 24 hours or whatever. You can also add a date range. Now, typically, if you guys are booking like demo calls or something like that, we don't really want people to book out more than 14 days because, especially if it's a sales call, because they will likely forget or they may just completely lose the motivation, even if they do remember to go ahead and show up for the appointment because whatever ad they saw, that's 14 days later. They've moved on, thought about other things, and your conversions would definitely drop if you extend that period too far. You also have the maximum bookings per day, which is really important because I know for me, it's really hard to do my normal work day if I have more than one or two private consultations per day. So you would want to set this however many you want people to be able to book per day. And then the maximum bookings per slot per user. So if this was a round robin and I had 3 salespeople and each of them only wanted to book 1 appointment per day, we would set that up here so that it would go to the next user if that person has already met this threshold. We also have the pre-buffer time. So how much time before the next appointment do I want to add, or how much time after the appointment do I want to add? I can just change that or add minutes here. And I also have a form, so I can either create my own form or I can use the default form here. And then I can even rearrange the steps in here. So it's like the form and then they pick the date, or they pick the date and then they fill out the form. You can pre-populate the fields if they're a sticky contact, which is really helpful if you are sending your booking calendar to someone in an email, or maybe you have an opt-in form and then they go to the page where they're going to complete the booking form. You could pre-populate a lot of those fields by turning this on here. And then you want to have the consent checkbox so that when you're sending text message reminders and emails, that you do have the proper consent to do that. You can also allow them to add guests. Since you've enabled add guest option, you can choose to charge for each attendee at the time of booking. So you would want to select this to collect payments from all attendees because I had the payment method. So if they want to add guests to the meeting, let's say that it's a partner in their business and they want to be able to add that partner, and that partner will also receive all of the notifications and all of that. You can toggle this on and then choose to gather the name and email, the count only, or require guests for bookings. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Then you can choose the confirmation page. So after they book, you can let them see this message here, or you could actually redirect them to another page, which I prefer. It's a little bit more professional, and you probably have instructions for them as well, like what to expect in the meeting, or check your email for the reminders, or whatever you want to add there. You can also put your meta pixel here. So if you are running ads to book appointments and you want to be able to track those, you can do that here. You can auto confirm the new calendar. So if this is turned off, what happens is they book and then you're notified. This gives you the opportunity to look manually at their profile, make sure they qualify for the appointment, and then you can manually confirm it. But if you want it to auto confirm and then they receive the reminders and all of those things, you can just turn that on. So we did turn this on as a payment, and you can see here we're accepting payments. Stripe is set up. We can also choose partial payments and enable coupon codes, which is a new thing as well. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. You do have the notifications. Now, this used to be where you had to go into the workflow and then build out all of these reminders and like the wait times and all of that. But now it's really easy to just go into the notifications area and you can set up all your reminders here. So you'll see these are very, very similar. When the appointment is booked but unconfirmed, remember I told you where you toggle that thing on to make sure that it's confirmed. So if you want it to be unconfirmed, you'll see all of these notifications here. So this one goes to the contact or the person that booked. This one goes to the assigned user, and this one is additional emails. For example, maybe you want to notify a team member, guest emails, you could do that. All right, so we have the contact email here. You'll see the appointment location. That is the link to the Zoom meeting or your custom link that you added in the settings. That area where it says location, this is the custom value. If you have your Zoom account or Google Meet connected, creates the event and then gets its own custom link for that event, it's going to be in that profile meeting location, and this is the custom value for that. So we have the email that they're going to get saying, hey, we received the request, we're going to confirm it. You have this email that goes to you. And like I said, the additional emails as well. You can send the email. You can also choose in-app notifications, and you'll see the user assigned to the calendar will be notified. You also can choose the SMS. So if you want to send text messages, and again, this used to be where you had to do this in the workflow. Now, all you need to do is enable that, and then you'll see the contact can be notified, the assigned user, and then you can also add additional phone numbers if you want someone else to be notified. And then if you're using WhatsApp, you can use that as well. So these are for unconfirmed appointments. So you'll see you want to go through and you want to set all of these up for unconfirmed if you are not automatically confirming them. You want to make sure that you have the confirmed emails or in-app or SMS or whatever you want, any of these notifications, just toggle them on and edit if you want to. You also have the cancellation, the reschedule, the reminder, and the follow-ups. You can choose if you want Google and Outlook Calendar to send invitation and update emails to attendees. This is really up to you. Just keep in mind how many emails you're sending and communication, because it may be a little overwhelming. A lot of people say definitely do this because it gets better delivery rates and they can easily add it to their calendars. But as soon as they book, they also go to a screen where it allows them to add to the calendars anyway. So it's really up to you. I'm just showing you what's possible. You can assign contacts to their respective calendar team members each time an appointment is booked. So let's say that the client has a project manager, and every time they book, you want them to be booking with the same person they originally spoke to. That's what this option is for here. You can allow them to reschedule or cancel the meeting, and you can choose how much time do you want this to expire. So let's say that you do allow rescheduling, but you do not want them to be able to reschedule or cancel 24 hours before the meeting. So you can just say 24 hours before the meeting here. So rescheduling link will expire 24 hours before the meeting, or cancellation would be 24 hours before the meeting. Then you also have your meeting invite notes that get added to the profile. And you have some customizations. So you can add your calendar cover image here. You can choose between the Neo and the classic style. You can also choose your primary color for the text and the background. You can change what it says when it's scheduling the meeting. And you can also choose what you want to be in that meeting. So we're going to choose the calendar title, calendar description, and calendar details. And if you have some custom CSS, you could add that here. We're going to save. Now, once you've created your calendar, you'll see here you can edit the calendar. You can also share the calendar. So if you click that little button there, you'll get the scheduling link. So this is the one that you can copy and share. This is the one that is permanent. You'll also see the one-time link. So if you just want them to be able to book one time and not again, you can use that. And then you can also use the embed code, and that will embed this calendar on any website, even if you're not using HighLevel. You do have the ability to troubleshoot your calendar by clicking that. I think that's a fairly new thing. You also have your preferences here for the specific calendar. So what day do you want the calendar to start? If you're not going to be using service menu, the rooms or equipment, you can actually toggle this off here. And if you save it, when you go back, you will not see that. We can choose the language. We can also choose the time format, and we can choose the day that the week starts on, let's say Monday. And if we save that and go back to our calendars, let's go in here, grab this link. Let's open this up in a new tab. So you'll see your calendar listed here. Next is the connections. So you'll see that you can set up the different connections for each of the users. So this is set up to demo user 1. So here we want to click to connect this demo user's calendar that is going to be connected to the booking calendar. You can see that they can connect their Calendly here, the Google Calendar. And remember, this is for the specific user. So if they want to connect their Google Calendar here for Google Meet and Zoom and Microsoft Teams, once that's connected, they'll be able to use that in their booking calendar as the location. So you have the calendars there, you have the video conferencing, and then you do have the ability to use Google Organic Booking. So if you have a Google listing and you connect it to your integrations down here, you'll see the Google listing will be connected here, and then you'll actually be able to turn on the organic booking so that they can go to your Google listing and actually book through that, and then it will book on your calendar and trigger all of those same automations. So you guys, that's really a very, very quick overview of all of the things that you can do with booking calendars. And if you need to add this to your website, really simple. You don't even need the embed code. You just want to go into a specific website, open up the editor, and I'm going to go here to the elements, and you'll see we can choose calendar, drag this calendar in here, and then we're going to select from the drop-down list, test, and then now our calendar has been embedded into our website. That's how easy it is to use all the calendars and integrate them in with your HighLevel account.